Hey, hi, hello, it's T Manga. Welcome to my first long form video. I am a 22-year-old self-taught artist with goals of quitting my job and becoming a full-time mangaka slash content creator. I have two goals for this YouTube channel. The first one is to use it to document my progress in becoming a manga artist. My second goal for this channel is to create a space where I can talk about anime and manga, maybe do kind of some reviews or video essay type think pieces. So, with all that being said, let's get into my history as a creative. My first exposure to anime and manga happened when I was about 4 years old. Instead of going to daycare, my dad would take my brother and I to his job, and it was there in the tiny, musty offices of a paper shredding company that I was first exposed to Bleach. Keep in mind, this was back in the late 2000s, before anime went mainstream in the West. My dad, being as hip as he was in 2007, was actually buying anime off of eBay to watch on the office computers. I still remember sitting on his lap and watching Bleach for the first time and just being terrified. Seeing Kenpachi with his spiky hair, his jagged sword, and his eye patch, and his just gruff voice, I asked my dad, "Is that the bad guy?" And he said, "No, that's the hero. That one's the bad guy." And there was Noidora, Espada 5, who I thought was the hero. Even back then, I felt like there was something mysterious and different and kind of intriguing about these characters. As far as anime manga goes, that was my last exposure for probably 15 years. I was, however, homeschooled during my elementary school years, and that meant that I had a ton of free time, which also meant homemade comics. Basically, these comics are about me and my stuffed animal, Saucy, going on adventures underwater to save dolphins from illegal dolphin hunters, I guess. I pretty much lost interest in drawing after that until my junior year that I would watch my first anime start to finish, Naruto. The interpersonal relationships and drama combined with the flashy animation during the fight scenes made for a very quick year of watching that anime. I just remember thinking, man, I've never felt this invested in a story. I didn't know a story like this could be told in the form of a cartoon. It took me about a year to finish Naruto, but after that, I started to dive into manga. My first manga that I started to collect was actually Berserk. Unlike Naruto or Bleach, Berserk's themes are heavy, complex, and not for the faint of heart. Berserk is my biggest inspiration. I actually have the brand here on my arm. I told myself that I would get the brand after I finished my first one-shot. I don't want to go too deep into why Berserk is too great, because I do plan on making a full-length video about that eventually, but I will say this. Berserk met me at a time in my life when I was searching for a dream to follow. Berserk is all about what it means to chase a dream and what it costs, and the sacrifices that you might have to make. One of my favorite lines in the series is from Goto, an old blacksmith who spent his whole life forging swords. He says something along the lines of, "I spent my whole life trying to create a masterpiece, hitting the iron over and over again, and one day I woke up an old man." Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk, in interviews, talked about how Goto's philosophy about blacksmithing was really his philosophy towards creating manga. He spent most of his time holed up in a studio, just working tirelessly on his craft, barely glancing at the outside world. Berserk is filled with these moments. Miura just weaves his philosophy into every page. It made me realize that manga can be just as literary and meaningful as the classic books that we were made to read in high school, and I started to really see all the media that I was consuming through that lens. And so over time, as I was reading these stories, after Berserk, it was One Piece. After One Piece, it was Bakuman. After Bakuman, it was Sakamoto Days, My Hero Academia. All these stories. Eventually, I just decided, like, man, like, I think I really want to create something like this. And thus, my dream was born. After deciding to pursue manga, I struggled to learn to draw. I was super inconsistent. I didn't really have like a defined practice. I didn't know what to practice. I didn't know what to do until I reconnected with an old friend that I used to play football with in high school. He does all sorts of creative stuff. I'll drop his link in my description. He's really cool. You should go check him out. After catching up with him for a couple weeks, we teamed up and we decided to create our own manga. That was one of the best years of my life, eating at his house and then retreating down into the basement to work on our manga that we called Flow. Flow was about two boys, Konda and Daiki, and their journey to try and compete in the Flow games. He handled the art and I did the writing and the screen tones. We put out 5 chapters that year, but towards the end of that year, I realized that if I was to become a prolific creator, I needed to step out on my own. And let's be honest, I was holding him back. With our friendship intact, we parted ways creatively. At first, I felt a little bit lost about where to go from here, how to develop my skills, but then an idea hit me. If I just drew manga every single day, eventually I'd get good at it, right? Kind of. I started drawing different pages of manga from my favorite series. I focused mostly on popular shonens like Jujutsu Kaisen, Naruto, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, One Piece, kind of a little bit of everything. And I just drew page after 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 page. And while it was true that studying these masters daily helped me grow a small following, I was wrong in thinking that it would instantly make me a great artist. After a while, I actually did complete a one-shot. But I'll be real, it's probably the worst thing that you've ever seen. Still, I kept drawing pages, and that's where I've been since. Now, after about 1 year of training, I'm ready to start on my second one-shot. And I want to invite you, yes, you watching this, to join me on this creative journey. I'm committing to posting at least twice a month as I work on this one-shot. My goal? Simply to make this one better than the last. So, expect videos on characters from my one-shot, plus commentary and reviews of popular manga. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me get closer to realizing my dream. And I'll catch you in a couple weeks.